Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am your host, as always, Jay Villain, aka that Jay. And tonight, we have another episode of the Black Council with the numbest of skulls. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, with a Black Lotus behind him, doing our thing here on the podcast. We are back. This is our first podcast for the month. Yeah, since our
I think so. Yeah.
You know, but there was a lot of stuff happening, and we kind of wanted to wait until a lot of things resolved because we have like 4 topics in this episode. There's a lot of news and there's a lot of things changing.
There was just a lot going on. And
there's a lot going on.
And I got a new job again, so it was just a lot. And then Magic happened, and then so we were just kind of waiting for the right time. And right now is the best time for us to do this, so we're doing it. We think that's how we feel.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're going to talk about a few different things today, and we're going to give our takes. We know that you guys want to know our takes, and
of course
we are going to, of course, I always like to talk about how it affects things moving forward and what that's going to mean longevity wise. So we're going to be looking into that too, and figure out what some of the things that happened, what it says about other things going forward. So, this is definitely the one where you want to stick around.
You're going to want to stick because I think we actually literally have 4 topics we want to cover.
Yeah.
Because of all the changes that have gone on. Last time we did a deck build and we like to change it up here. So we're going to be doing news, hard hitting facts. And everyone keeps asking me on my stream, I know maybe on your stream too, what do you think about this? What do you think about the changes? What do you think about
it's part of being a creator in any capacity. People are going to ask, they're going to ask for your take, and you're supposed to feel some way about it.
Of course.
It's part of it,
Well, as you may or may not know, Numbskull, we are now Magic influencers.
You have a point there.
Yes, we're influencers. We've both been to early access. Yeah, so.
We influence.
So as Magic influencers, we wanted to give our hot takes and cold takes. And
lukewarm takes.
Any kind of takes you want. This is takeout. All you can eat takeout. So first thing we want to do is, of course, invite you to join us on the Black Council.
For sure.
And by doing that, what you can do is you can go right down there to the link and join us on our Patreon. Patreon.com/Black Council for as little as $1 a month. If that's all you want to pledge to join, you get Discord access. You get all the things you could possibly want. You can talk to us directly. You could ask us questions directly. I just did a deck from the Discord, the Black Council Discord. Somebody suggested a deck in the super secret deck list area, and I actually just made a video on it. So why not? Come on by. You can support us for $1 an episode if you want. If you want to do that, if you want to get this news and information, anything that you'd like, it's there, and we'd love you to join us. This is completely user supported. This usually gets less views than all my other videos, which means it doesn't get monetized that much. So most of what supports what we do here is just directly from funding from you guys. So absolutely, we'd love you to join the Patreon. And despite the fact that they redesigned the website and it looks like trash, I'm not going to hold that against them. At least for us, yeah. I don't really like the new layout, but yeah. Do you want to read them off, or you want me to go for it? Because we want to thank our patrons.
Yes, we want to thank the patrons. I don't have it pulled up if you'd like to.
Let me do the patrons right here. Right,
and also, I want to remind everyone that you do get early access to every episode.
Oh yeah,
as a patron. So you're going to see it at least a day before, sometimes like a couple days before, depending how everything lines up with editing and So yeah, you will see the episodes before anyone else does. You'll get to say, hey, I watched the new episode. people come in the chat sometimes. Oh, dude, I love the new episode this week. You know, so and usually it's one of our patrons who's seen it early because they've been supporting us and we're gonna show you love back. We always say we give you way more than $1 a month worth of shit, so it's totally worth it. If you don't think it's worth it, that's fine. You can still watch for free on YouTube, and we won't hold it against you.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
we're just happy that you're watching our stuff. So
exactly,
thank you as always.
Exactly. We just like that you're supporting. Yeah, we appreciate everything that you do. And again, if you want to support $1 per episode, you only get charged when the episode goes out. So don't even worry. That's it. Yep. So I put up the post that a new episode is up for patrons. You just get charged right then and there. So don't worry. You're not going to get like 1,000 charges while we do nothing.
Oh yeah, no, we don't do that. And
I've heard the Patreon horror stories where they take every month and produce nothing. Yeah.
You only get charged when we do something. If we don't release an episode in a given month, you don't even get charged for it. So I think we like it that way. You know what I mean? So it just works a little better.
Exactly. So anyways, we want to thank our patrons. Of course, we have here, there, we're going to read them out. You can get your name read out too. Eclipse, Notorious D, Deadfast, Frank E, Mother of Steel, Weiler Tyler, Szechuan Anon, The Clash, a live action RPG, Lars Van Bream, Great Xylo Beast, Jamel Zilla, Trexodactyl, Lord Gypticus, the Flipticus, Mamulian, Cassius, Nickel Nuts, H-Man, Ulfvar, Dante Valentine. My name is Steve. Oh, it must be a new one. Nice. And of course, Paradabo, a whole pair of them, not even just one Dabo, but a whole pair of Dabos.
Appreciate you guys, man.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much for the support. It helps pay for all of the stuff we do here. And yeah, because we rent the studio. I got a great deal. I think I told you it was $1 million a year. And
a month, right? A month.
Well, yeah. I mean, I pay a month, but each month.
That's what he told me, at least. Yeah. So that's what I'm paying half of that. We think it's a deal.
It was absolutely a deal. It was absolutely a deal. It was. I think it was really good. As you can see, there's some black boxes. There's our names. You can't get that other places.
The Black Lotus behind me alone was like $200,000.
Oh yeah, that's a real Black Lotus, by the way. That's actually a blown up version of the card that he got.
But yeah, so our first topic this week.
Our first topic, big topic.
First topic, we are going to talk about the bans, or the no bans, if you will.
I put out a video. Recently. I don't know. I put out a short
on your YouTube.
On my YouTube, and I wanted.
I don't know if I saw it.
So Wizards called us up. They called us to say, "I'm not going to call you." You know when you get a text from somebody and they go, "I'm not going to text you."
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. They said, "We just like to put out this ban announcement to let you know that there's no bans being announced."
It was like Ayo, you up? Okay, then go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like that.
It was exactly like that.
I guess it's fine, because it's like, it feels like anything that. Well, okay, let's start with the most recent release for things that would affect stuff, particularly standard. We talked about how it was somewhat underwhelming and just bolstered the stuff that was already there, which means that the set didn't really have anything that groundbreaking that warranted a ban, if you will. And then that turns into, well, if you were going to ban something, if you were going to ban Atraxa, if you were going to ban, whatever else, Farewell, whatever you hate right now, whatever people are hating on, right? If you were going to ban that, you would have probably done it already, because things didn't really become that much more of a problem than they already were. So I'm kind of okay with it. I think that it does lead to the bigger issue that Eldraine was not that format impacting, not in the way that we wanted it to be, not in the way that we expected it to be. It's unfortunate, you know. So that sucks. Unban Invoke. That's all I have to say.
They could have done that free. You're gonna make the free what would you call it? Free Invoke Despair. Hashtag free Invoke Despair. Let it free. It's,
oh yeah. Free my man's Invoke Despair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Free Invoke. Yeah, I mean, because I don't know, does it? Because it feels like, I mean, maybe they don't want Mono Black to be as strong, which it's still like decent, but it feels like now when you bring in all the bargain stuff, doesn't that just like deal with Invoke pretty easily because it's so easy to have an enchantment out on the board now? So it's just like, okay, I sacrificed an enchantment.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many like 1-drop enchantments.
I sacrificed this roll token that was a 3-for-1 on turn 1 anyway. It's like, okay, well, does Invoke even need to be banned right now? It's just like, so I guess I could see them, or well, I mean, that's just like my wishful thinking, I guess, but I could see them unbanning more than I could see them banning right now in Standard, you know?
And I was, well, okay, so apparently they said, everyone was like, why did they even do that? Apparently they had set that as a ban window, and they felt like they couldn't just say nothing, so because it was like a predetermined ban window.
Yes,
I think you're spot on with the notice that Eldraine did nothing to change the meta so much that it needed adjustment. It was just such a soft impact.
And I wonder if they struck out on their assumption too, that they thought that it would have. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe they're like, oh, well, Eldraine's going to shake it up, and then we're going to have to, and that was their expectation was, well, let's see how Eldraine goes. But it's also supposed to be, this was the lip service, if you will, to the no rotation. It's like, oh, well, we're not going to have rotation, but we will do a BNR about a month or so after the rotation would have been, to make sure that things are okay. And yeah, things are okay, but you had a set that came out that like didn't bring any excitement. And so, I mean, yeah, things are kind of okay in regards to bans, but state of the game, maybe not, you know?
Yeah, and I think that, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, I'm still hearing people say ban Sheoldred.
Yeah, people were expecting it to happen.
It's just,
I mean, if you ban Sheoldred, then you got to ban Atraxa, then you got to ban. I don't even know what else. But they have so many different ways to deal with it now, and they have, you know, there's like some more life gain that's on as well. It feels like Sheoldred has become less prevalent because you took away, and you're just obviously creating so many things that make it not as good. Now, I do say like the Sheoldred and Rafine thing is kind of crazy. I could see like Rafine being banned before Sheoldred, personally.
I don't know. I feel like Rafine, I mean, if you have the extra, like honestly, if you have the extra mana, you can hit Rafine with a cut down.
No, you're right. If you have it on that first turn.
Yeah, because it's Ward 1.
Yeah.
So
it is true. It's very easy to remove, kind of. Yeah. So yes. And then yeah. So they don't, you know, they gave it the Ward 1 so that it's not like just straight up a bad card, like a bad trade. So I guess that it's a somewhat fair card. I guess just the Sheoldred and Rafine combo is just like obviously pretty crazy, and if they do it too much, then you just lose. But if somebody has an Atraxa on the board for like 3 turns, you also lose. So
pretty much, yeah. I think that's actually written on the card. If Atraxa's on the board for 3 turns,
you just lose. So it's kind of the same thing. If the Sheoldred stays on the board too long, you lose also. So maybe the Atraxa was how they dealt with the shoulder. They just gave you another option, and they made 5-color decks that good. Or these reanimator decks, they make them more, you know, more viable and give them better payoffs. So I don't think shoulder need to be banned. I think there's plenty of ways to remove it. And
especially now with exiles with just board wipe, forced sacrifice.
Yeah,
there's
just so many ways. So I think it's fine personally. So yeah, I'm not on board with that. I don't think Wizards was either, and I don't think that they want to devalue the most expensive card in Standard right now either.
That also hurts the secondary market. Okay, so I'm gonna hit you with the tough question though, Numbskull.
Sure.
I'm gonna hear only hard balls here on the Black Council. No
hardball me.
Right. I'm gonna hardball you real good. Okay, so hold on. Do you think Standard is balanced right now?
It's tough to say, but I'm gonna say
you don't, it doesn't have to be yes or no. You can give me a yes and no but.
Yeah. I'm gonna say yes and there was too much Esper at the last
so
like
I don't even need to answer
or whatever. You know what I mean? There's too much Esper, and there's like the 5-color is still like too good after a new set came out. But I'm talking about 2 different decks that use a lot of different colors to make a deck good, which is somewhat of a sign of a healthy format. Like, if, a 5-color deck is good, that means you have great mana bases. That means you have cards of every color that are valuable. It's a sign of a healthy Standard that you can even have an effective 5-color deck. But then conversely, it's not, because it's been good for too long, and they keep propping it up, and then they keep knocking down other stuff. The only thing that really affected the 5-color deck was the Fable ban, but the mana bases are so good that it didn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The mana bases are so good, and then they brought so much ramp with other sets that it was irrelevant. So I think that was mainly the issue. You know what I mean? Was that, you know, we have this, you know, Esper. How long's Esper been good for? Esper's been good since Rafine came out.
Yeah.
And before that, it was still something. Yeah, it's been 2 years now, and it was still something because Esper Control was a thing before Rafine came and made like Esper Aggro or Esper like creature heavy mid-rangey decks a thing.
Exactly.
So and then I know that people were complaining about Esper, like, you know, in like the other Eldraine days too, and like things like that. So seems like, you know, that still gets propped up. So that's something that I think is kind of not as necessary, but I am glad that we don't have all these Grixis decks now because Fable got banned. So that effectively, the Invoke and Grixis effectively eliminated Grixis, but like,
oh yeah, Fable took the hit. Yeah,
you know, but like, are we ever gonna do anything about Esper? I don't know. I still think that someone back there at Wizards is just like
loves Esper.
They love Esper, dude, because they will not touch that. It's like they have like a gag order against. You know what I mean? You can't, like, don't talk about Esper, dude. You'll get fired. You know, like, I don't know. That's kind of how I felt, because they don't care about Grixis. They're mono black. You know, mono black can suck it. You know, and they're like, we'll try to make the 5-color deck less good so that Esper can beat it by banning Fable. And it's just like, all right, man, well, you know, that's unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's my spiel, is that I still have some qualms that I've had for a while with what they're doing with standard, and I'm overall lately, I will admit, not to like drop a bomb or make anybody think any kind of way, but I'm overall lately a little bit less interested in Magic than I have been. I will admit.
Is it because of maybe the control meta that we have this kind of very hard to kind of play what you want without getting locked out, board wipe, removed?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like there's just so many matchups where it's like it feels like there's no coming back. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of decks that are out there where it's like you can't like turn the tide against them, and it just feels, I don't know. That doesn't feel too great to me, and it doesn't feel like, and there's a lot of aggro and stuff too, which I think aggro popping back up is fine, but it just, yeah, it's just, I personally think like ever since Invoke got taken away, it's like there hasn't been a card anywhere near as fun.
Yeah, in
my opinion. So like, I mean, I get it. Like Invoke was like kind of a cheat code. Do you know what
I mean? It was. I mean, how do you feel about Multiverse taking over kind of that high end black? So you think it's worth it, or it's just too expensive?
Multiverse is cool, but I just I hate when you're in a matchup where it's irrelevant, because Invoke could always be relevant. That was the whole thing. You could be going up against, if you go up against mono red, Multiverse sucks, you know, because their highest creatures, like the highest mana value is like Squee, and you paid 7 mana to get their Squee.
Exactly.
And one of yours, you know, it's like, okay, well that wasn't very good. And then you're at like 3 life anyway by the time you resolve it. So you know what I mean? Like but at the same time, like I would, like if I played best of 3 against mono red, I'd probably board out the Invokes myself, or like at least a couple of them, because you're not like, well, if you get to the point where you're resolving Invokes like to win against mono red, then like they were beat a few turns ago, or they drew terribly. But yeah, it just kind of feels like the high, I don't know, and I don't know if we need, you know what we need, man. We need Vito.
That's it. He might be coming, man.
Vito. I know.
We have Culavere, the other guy who's coming out. I can't remember. He has a Portuguese name. Culavano.
Okay.
He is. He's like if anybody dies, they turn into a demon. So we're getting some named.
That's fun.
We've got demons coming. We know there's demons and vampires coming.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up too much. I don't want to take up your airtime on this matter. Do you think?
No, I was listening and enjoying. I was enjoying talking about yours.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Yeah, but that's how I feel, and I'm like waiting for that thing that reels me back in again and like grabs my attention. And I wanted something to happen with Eldraine to do that, and it didn't happen, and it was disappointing. And now I'm really hoping Ixalan does it for me. And I get it. There can't be something that I love in every set. They don't make this shit for just Numbskull. I get it. I get it. They make this shit for Commander players. No.
Okay. Well, okay. We said hot takes. We said hot takes are coming.
No, they make this shit. Try to make it palatable to everyone, I guess. And you know, so we'll see. Some of the spoilers I've seen, and I guess we'll have to do an Ixalan spoiler thing eventually here. Some of the Ixalan I've seen has been kind of spicy, not gonna lie.
So, I have been enjoying it too. We're going to be getting to spoiler season here soon, and pre-release season. So you know we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing our, of course, pre-release reviews. We'll probably be doing a best of vampires or whatever we're going to be doing, and we'll have early access. So stay tuned to this location.
Yeah, because that Galta in Ixalan, that just seems really cool.
I know.
It's really interested in that.
I actually saw that Vampire Demon Orzhov commander deck, and I was like, damn, okay, maybe. All right. Okay, Shody out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that Blood Rights deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Blood rights.
yeah, dude. That's looking. You know what I mean? That's looking pretty good. So, that alone, like I was thinking, I don't have a commander deck. I might just like buy that as a precon and then just upgrade it. Like that could be your
I would probably
upgrade
do
deck.
that.
You know? Yeah, that doesn't sound bad at all. So yeah, so I'm hopeful, and Ixalan is maybe like has more of like the bones to be something that interests me. So I guess we'll see about that. We'll see if that's what it comes down to. Anything that has like vampires and demons, I think is kind of like right up both of our alleys.
Exactly.
So I think Ixalan's the set to do it. You know, you can't love every set. So I'm taking that the high hopes that I had. Well, that, and I'm taking the high hopes that I had for Eldraine and kind of
putting them towards it. I know. I'm not crazy.
Snowballing it into Ixalan.
I felt Eldraine was a little bit of a dud too. It was fine. I mean,
there's like some cards that are cool, you know.
Yeah. But even if you look back and you look at our number one our number one seed pick for top shaker card has just never been able to work out into the meta.
What was our number one?
Arietta the Charmed Apple.
Yeah. Nobody's been able to make that work.
No, no one's been able to work. Right. I think it's really a commander card.
I could see that. I've used Hopeless Nightmare probably the most out of all the new like black cards.
For sure.
That and Lord Skitter's been pretty good.
Lord Skitter, the rats are not bad. Rakdos got a power boost. Golgari got a power boost, but
Golgari is pretty good now.
Overall, is the meta balance, is the game balance right now? Again, we're doing yes and no, but I would say yes, and there's too much removal. There's too many board wipes, and I think that is my number one complaint. You have, by invitation only, you have Path of Peril, you have Farewell, you have Depopulate, you have that new one that's called Slam the Door, or whatever it's called. It's the one that you choose a number and it gets rid of a bunch of...
Yeah, it's like, dude, we had by invitation only. Why did we need that?
Yeah, you force sacrifice. You know? Well, the thing is, they expected by invitation only to be rotated out.
Yeah.
So you have, obviously everyone hates Farewell. I mean, you have Sunfall. The board state control is just, and that's the thing. You bend that bow, you get no mid range. You get either aggro as fast as you possibly can, or board state control out.
And then you want to control the control, and it's just like, it's not fun, in my opinion. I don't have the patience for it. I really don't. So yeah, I personally can't play like that. It doesn't work for my style. If I had to do it like for a tournament, I guess, but like I'd still rather play something else. So yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it, Jay. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that right now is the biggest problem more than anything else. It limits the value of large boards. It limits green or anything, that if you want to build board state, it limits really a lot of play styles. It's either go fast or try to counter it, so you end up with control or you end up with aggro, and then it's basically just a dice roll to see who can get off first.
Because they even tried to do mono green whenever the new set came out, and then it just kind of like got...
No, it's too hard.
There's some green hasties,
Yeah, there's just so much room, and you can make a deck. You can make a perfectly functional deck that is, just nothing but removal, just nothing but grounded pound. So
yeah, that's true.
That's my take, though.
Removal in manlands. I don't disagree with any of that, man. All right, well, that's you guys have our takes on how standard is and the bans and no bans. We did say that we wanted to talk about the alchemy cards that were coming out, and usually we do spoilers, but I know that me personally, I wasn't too terribly impressed with the alchemy cards themselves that came out.
Yeah.
So I kind of I don't want to say that we disregarded it, but we kind of maybe just saved it as like a B topic, if you will, for an episode, which is what we're going to do right now. So I don't know. I actually haven't played Alchemy since rotation. Let me come out and say that.
Wow, that's surprising. You used to be the
Did
Alchemy
I?
King.
Yeah, man. I used to really go for it. I think, you know what? I played it a little bit. I think I tried to make a mono black deck post rotation. I played it a little bit. I did the whole Nazgul thing, you know. And you know, I had Bowmasters in it, which I guess we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
So, and the One Ring. So,
as saying somebody who has played the Alchemy cards, none of them are earth shattering. They're fun. I think there was an emphasis on quirkiness and fun and unique things as opposed to just pure power, which we've seen some Alchemy cards that like they release them and you're like, that is just a pure powerhouse card.
Yeah,
you know?
Nothing ban worthy first glance here, you know, or rebalance worthy, whatever you want to say.
I don't see anything that's like busted. Driver of the Swine is powerful, but like it's also a mythic rare and costs 5. So I feel like it's it's relatively. The only thing that I know is that everyone was mad that the dog Kellen, you know, the character Kellen from the new Eldrin set, they put Kellen's dog in it, and everyone's like, it's a tragedy. We can't have this in paper. Everyone was like, just print a paper version. We want his dog because it's like a big fluffy puppy, and everyone was like,
that's kind of cool. I do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think Cerise is like a fun card. I like the mechanic of it. I feel like it's a very appropriate use of like the seek ability, if you will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like too much, like how Crucius was just too much. Like the Cerise ability, it like forces you to like do something rather than just like discard a card that you benefit from discarding anyway, and then you get something else. It's like
exactly
like that was way too much. Whereas Cerise is like, okay, you have to gain life, so like you probably have to attack with a lifelink creature, or you have to have a life gain spell. You have to actually cast something. You have to do something, and then you get your reward. And I think that's a little more reasonable. And I think that's a very fair application of Seek. And I'm sorry if I go through these quick. I maybe you'll be able to put the cards on the screen as we talk about them. But Underbridge Warlock as like the only kind of like, you know, high payoff black card, not bad. Once again, I feel like fair.
Yeah,
pretty fair. You know.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. You know, lose 5 life, gain 5 life. I know, you know, we're into that. It's a little like clunky, I think.
Yeah.
It's like because of like, okay, so what does it say? You get your boon. 3 or more creatures die this turn. Each opponent loses 5 life, and you gain 5 life. Okay, but now you're putting each opponent text into a digital only card in a game where you only allow 1v1. Why are you even doing that? Why even do it?
Yeah.
Are you going to bring multiplayer to Arena? Is that what you're telling us?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Well, I guess maybe in the sense of, so you don't have to say target opponent.
Exactly.
So you're not actually targeting.
I don't even know why they add that mechanic in Arena, because I've done that where it's like, okay, choose the opponent. I'm like, dude, come on. Why are you going to make me click on the guy? You know who it's going. I can't even choose player. It's only choose opponent. Yeah. So there's nowhere else. I can't
choose myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then, if you have a boon, or beginning of event stuff, if you have a boon, you mill 3 cards, draw a card, lose 2 life. That's fine. So there's probably applications for that, but is there a better black 5-drop? Most likely. So that's a thing. And obviously Shouldered is like still better, but I mean Shouldered's a 4-drop, but Shouldered's obviously still much better than that.
Yeah.
So and then the other guy is and for the black cards is the Dunbarrow Revivalist. It's fine, but you know, a 2-mana 3/1 is like and you get the roll, so you get your little 2-for-1, so that's fine, but it's okay. You know, it's just okay. So yeah, nothing too crazy. I do see that we have a Fireball. That's crazy. Draconic debut.
The dragon actually, it works pretty good. And it does get dragons out cheaper. It's better if you get somebody with haste out.
Oh, of course, yeah, by all means. So like Siobhan Dragon, that's kind of interesting because it's just like however much damage you dealt is like whatever that's how much power that'll have, basically, almost. Do you know what I mean? Or Siobhan Devastator, I mean, sorry. Is that still considered a dragon?
That is, it's a Dragon Hydra, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Like, you could do, that's a nice little combo, because X equals X as you go, you know, kind of thing.
It lets you prepay something. There's a few, like, prepaid. There's also that Era of Fire that you basically turn it into a 5/5 dragon by playing it for 3 and then playing it for 2. So you split up basically a 5-cost card into, like, 2 chunks.
Yeah, but that is one thing I appreciate about Alchemy, is that it always did kind of bolster that tribal thing. Like, you know, we have boars, we have all these little pigs now. They did add a fairy and a rogue. We have more human stuff going. There's a giant here, which is like kind of an ode to the last Eldraine. You know what I mean? So that's noteworthy. What do we have? We have human stuff. We have fairies. We have there are some warlocks. There's actually a few warlocks. There's red and black.
Well, anything
warlocks.
that's a witch is a warlock. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. You have a Rakdos Knight, which is kind of a little more
ironclad. Yeah, and I said a lot of those like do like cool tricky things as opposed to being straight up powerhouses, and I think that's fine. You know, I think Alchemy has some room to breathe, especially since rotation came. You know.
Yeah, I think it some of these cards are like, they aren't bad. Like, I'm not crazy impressed with anything, but some of these cards can add some cool mechanics to a deck, which that kind of was the point of Alchemy, was to get these cool mechanics going and have interactions that you wouldn't normally have any other time. So I'm not really mad about this. I'm a little annoyed that there's only like 2 black cards. I think that's kind of not nice, but other than that, fine, you know, whatever. I do like Drover of the Swine. I thought that is
good. I still have to make my pig deck. It's a little tricky to get right, and I didn't want to like sink 1,000 mythic rares and 1,000 rares into it, especially this close to Ixalan. So I was like, all right, how can I do this a little bit budget conscious? You know. Yeah,
and I think maybe if you were lucky enough to get that card in draft and fix the mana appropriately, that would be crazy. Because I know I think people were saying that they've been enjoying the Alchemy draft.
I've heard a few people say a few good things about Alchemy draft.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because you know, I mean, it's usually a limited player, but like a limited player like never would play Alchemy Constructed. But when the Alchemy draft comes out, they're like, oh yeah, man, this is fun. This is unique, you know? So you have to also figure that some of these cards get released for the purpose of being played in limited with that intention. So just because, you know, we're not seeing these bangers for Constructed doesn't mean that some of these cards aren't being used elsewhere, you know?
And I think that we can't talk about Alchemy without talking about the rebalances. We had 2 rebalances.
Oh, there we go. Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna have a wonderful segue here because it is relevant, and I know this is probably the question I get the most, and I can sum it up in mine. So basically, the rebalances were this: we had 1 ring now costs 1 to activate to draw the card, so you have to pay 1 to activate the card draw ability of 1 ring, and Orcish Bowmasters now doesn't have the enter the battlefield, so it doesn't do the 1 damage and generate 1 orc, amass 1 orc token on entering the battlefield only when your opponent draws a second card.
Second or more. Okay, yeah. I think that's reasonable. The 1 mana to activate on the on the ring, I think is also like, it's like, how else are you going to tax it in a way where you don't just make the card overall cost more? Do you know what I mean? Like, to cast. So I think it's reasonable, and I think it slows down these decks a little bit, because you don't want to completely hinder them. You don't want to make it like to the point where it's unplayable. That's not the intention of rebalancing. So I think that adding the cost is totally reasonable. And another thing that I think about the Bowmasters, and ultimately how I feel about both of them, is I was only playing them because everyone else was, and if you weren't playing them too, you were going to lose. So I didn't really give a shit if I played these cards or not. I was only putting them in the alchemy deck because the other guy who has his shouldered out and 4 One Rings was gaining so much life without me having my One Ring and drawing so many cards that I couldn't do anything and I was dying. And my deck was not viable until I, you know, if you can't beat them, join them, or, you know, played ball, so to speak. So I'm okay with that. And I also hated the interaction of, I play my Bowmasters, I do 1 damage to you. In response, you play your Bowmasters, you kill my Bowmasters. And it's like,
and we could just do that all
a turn. And it's just like this back and forth, this like game of chicken. And it's like, now we're not even playing Magic. And it's like, I mean, I get it. I guess playing chicken in a way can be playing Magic, but it's not exactly a fun way to play it, in my opinion. It doesn't, you know, further the game and like move it towards a fun position, so to speak. So I kind of don't like that. It doesn't draw us to a unique board state. It just like is a bunch of land go. Oh, do you have a stop? Ooh, he has a stop right now. I can't cast
exactly.
Him. You know, it's like, come on, dude. So like I said, I was only playing them because I felt like I had to, because other people were putting them in everything. So if that means that less people are going to play it, and I can take them out of my decks and get back my wild cards, fuck it. So be it. I'm really not mad. And it doesn't affect commanders, so it doesn't make the physical copy that I have of
One Ring
like shitty now. You know what I mean? So I can still use it in my commander deck that I never built, that I need to build, but still I can still use it in that, and it's not nerfed there, so that's fine. Whatever, dude. You know, like I'm not that mad about it. So yeah, I don't feel bad. I think some people were annoyed with how they, what were they saying they wanted? They were saying they wanted, I got to find someone's Twitter who was talking about it. They were saying that they wanted something to do with the wild cards, but they gave us the wild cards, but I think they didn't like how they did it or something. I'll have to try to find it here.
Yeah.
And see if I can, you know.
So I feel like, I don't know if I wouldn't say overdone and underdone. I feel like they really hurt Bowmasters and they lightly touched One Ring. I feel like One Ring got the softer nerf than Bowmasters. Bowmasters really is not even really that useful anymore. Like it's nowhere near an auto include. One Ring still has a lot of value. I feel like that one mana it's like a break shoe on it a little bit. It's just like a little soft break shoe.
Yeah, and I guess, and I always wonder, like, well, what else could they have done?
Yeah,
you know?
I really wanted the counters on the player, that you get the burden counter and not the ring.
I see.
That's what I thought it should have is. So even if you sacrifice it, even if you use something to get rid of it, you've put 2 burn counters, you're taking 2 damage for the rest of the game. That's pretty harsh, but with the Sheoldred ring combo that people were pulling, I feel like it was necessary.
I could see that. Yeah. Here it is. So what does they say? Oh, okay. This person. So someone was saying that we didn't get them. Wait, what did they do? I'm confused. Did you get
No, we didn't get wilds refunded. No.
We didn't? I thought I got wilds.
No, I don't. You only get wilds when there's bans.
Oh, dude, I could have sworn that I got 4 and 3, and the 3 was for the 3 One Rings I had, and the 4 was for the 4 Bowmasters. I logged on and got that one day, I thought.
Did we? I don't even remember.
But I think maybe we didn't at first, and then let's see. I'm scrolling through the comments on this. I don't know. It looks like they gave you X copies of the new ones.
Yeah.
Which is like whatever.
Yeah.
Did they release any statement about it or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Okay, is this okay? So, had an opportunity. The one ring was too efficient. Whatever. Sheer amount of card advantage. We are adding on mana to give players more time to execute their own strategy. Yeah, whatever. They don't say new set through sort of climbing the ranks. Yeah, man. And maybe it was for something else. I don't know. And I know that they were having bugs. But yeah, I guess, and I guess you guys let us know.
I don't think we did. I think it kind of looked like it because they flipped over like they were being done again. But I don't remember getting rares.
Okay, so yeah, let us know. Well, I mean, anybody who plays Alchemy, let us know if you got wild cards. I thought that I did, and it might have been for something else. Do you know what I mean? I might have, I don't know if I like hit a vault or something and that did it. But I could have sworn I got 4 rares and 3 mythics, and those were the exact amounts I had of each of those cards. So I could be wrong, and it could be for something else. I thought that I had gotten them, but I also didn't log on the exact day that it happened. I think I logged on like a day or 2 after. So I'm not sure. So I'll have to see about that and see, see if what I hear from others. But yes, I mean, if that's the case, that is kind of messed up because I totally did burn wild cards on those. Yeah. And it's like, Bowmasters is no longer, like you said, no longer an auto include. And I burned at least 2 or 3. I think I did get 1 in a pack or like 1 in draft or something when I drafted. But like, I put stock into that and I get it. Numbskull, you have 162 rares. Shut the fuck up. I get it. But I don't, I do what I do on Arena to try to avoid spending money on it because I put a lot of money into this game, and this is all of that money paying off now. You know what I mean? Exactly. And so like it insults it almost insults what I invested into the game when shit like that happens, and it insults what other people put into the game too, and that's fucked up, So
yeah, but I feel like
we have to call that out.
I feel like the caveat is it's kind of, and it is a bit of a downside of Alchemy, I will admit, but also it's the downside of any game, digital game. It's buyer beware when you're buying Alchemy cards, they may get adjusted.
For sure.
I feel like if all of a sudden they were just like, hey, we're changing it because we don't like it, and like that was an unusual thing that happened. So I always say, going to Alchemy with a grain of salt. They could be more generous. Like it would encourage people that you're not going to lose so much if we do a rebalance.
Sure.
They could even give you back half. They could be like,
give half, or maybe give you some packs,
exactly
like that. Couple packs.
Exactly. Well, we did get we got the Eldraine packs for free, so.
Well, we always get that though, whether there's a ban or not, I guess. You know what I mean? Or give us more Eldraine packs or whatever. Give us packs. Give us Lord of the Rings packs then or something, so we can get another rare.
That would have been a good idea.
Give us some more of that. I don't have a 100% completion on that. Give me some Lord of the Rings packs. But and you're right, there is always the argument, well, that's what you signed up for with Alchemy. You wanted rebalancing and you got it, and now you're crying, and so like okay, fine, got me there. But ultimately,
not saying it doesn't suck, like it does suck that it happens, but it is kind of part for the course.
And I guess maybe that's our sign that we don't need to spend all these wild cards on Alchemy, and maybe that'll be a response. Maybe that'll be all right. Well, I spent 4 rares and 4 mythics because I'm sure historic. I think it was nerfed for historic too, wasn't it? Or was it just Alchemy? Or I think it was nerfed in Alchemy. It's nerfed in historic, isn't that how it works?
It's for everywhere. Yeah, it's for everything.
So that would be historic brawl too. So Yeah, so I'm sure historic players are pissed off because they love to burn their wild cards and play their historic deck until it doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? That's your historic players love to keep running that same deck, and they'll spend 60 wild cards for it as long as they can keep playing it till the cows come home. So
exactly,
I'm sure they're pissed too, arguably more pissed than some Alchemy players. So yeah. And something else I noticed is Orcish Bowmasters is a heavily played card in Modern these days.
It is? I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my buddy just qualified for DreamHack with a mono black coffers deck in Modern that plays Bowmasters. And it's pretty sweet deck. But he got his DreamHack invite for the Modern RCQ season. And that deck plays 4 Bowmasters, I believe, at least 3 or 4. And I mean, that's a $40 card. It's very expensive. It's a great card. Everybody wants it right now. But in Modern, they have so many answers and so many, like, such high-powered stuff that I feel like Modern is, like, the best place for that card to really shine, because what happened with Alchemy, you didn't play cards that counteracted it. You just played that card as well.
Exactly.
If that makes sense. So it's like you didn't really, there aren't really like other cards that are on that level in the format that it like can hang with it for what it was doing. And same with the One Ring. But in Modern, there's something for everything. And it's like, because it's so high powered, it is balanced in that way because of the power level that's there across the board, you know? So that's something. And then of course, you know, you're not, Modern is an eternal format. You're either going to ban it or you're not going to nerf it. They didn't ban it in Modern. They didn't ban either of these cards in Modern. So that's a thing. But Bowmaster is winning games for people in Modern, winning matches.
Well, I mean, anytime you can punish,
so that's cool.
If you can punish card superiority, and again, talking about Esper's dominance, you're really punishing blue players and people trying to get advantage on you by building. You do 2 things: do damage and build board state.
Yeah, you get 2 birds stoned at once.
Exactly. So
yeah, I guess that's how we're feeling about Alchemy.
By the way, you mentioned
cool.
Crucius. It's an unintentional. The funny thing I saw was it's an unintentional Crucius nerf, because now it doesn't die to the 1 ping as soon as you drop it. Yeah,
it's a Crucius
a little
buff.
bit more. Yeah, it's a Crucius. Yeah, Crucius, a nerf Crucius buff. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Is maybe you see more Crucius stuff now. Which I mean, Bowmasters hitting. Even if you lost your Bowmasters to the Bowmasters in response, if you killed a Crucius with the Bowmasters, it felt great. It was phenomenal. It didn't matter if you lost yours, because you still got a 1/1 and you killed their Crucius for 2 mana. That's fine, you know. So now you don't get the 1/1, you don't get to kill the Crucius on ETB. It doesn't feel as good now, you know. So,
yeah, exactly. So it makes it a little bit more survivable.
Yeah, it's probably a lot less played, and then now maybe Crucius comes back a little bit, and we'll see, you know. But yeah, that's our thoughts on that. And then we have
the big boy.
Yeah, we have a big topic here. And this is something. Yeah,
boosters.
Sorry, go ahead, just say it.
Sorry. Yeah, there it is.
No, I'm just gonna say it's something that just kind of came out of nowhere the other day, and I get notifications about Twitter posts, and I get, you know, someone reposts it, and sometimes I get tagged in a repost or tagged in a comment thread about whatever. And then I just see it, and that's kind of how I get my news for Magic, is just see what people are mad about on Twitter today, you know. And that day, which was like 3 days ago, they said that they are going to have play boosters now, and they are eliminating draft and set boosters, correct? And there will just be one.
There's just
but still have collectors, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. And we have comments, and
people, people are not happy from what I'm gathering. And then Mark Rosewater made some additional comments that even confused and muddied the water even more. He said something to the effect of, well, if we didn't do something, draft was going to disappear. And people are like, what? What does that mean? What is there like a curse put on draft that it's fading away? Like what is that? What does that even mean? Draft is going to disappear unless you did something. What? So there was a lot of confusion.
That's pretty odd. And guess what, dude? If you want draft to be good, you could also try putting out good cards. Have you thought of that?
True, you could build
because you haven't put out good cards in a little bit. So what if you tried that before you just make statements like that? Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, bro. Or like it's kind of tone deaf. Well, play boosters in general, I think, is kind of tone deaf. People who buy set boosters aren't buying them to draft. They're buying them to try to hit their rares and hit that super valuable card in the set. Those are like your fucking gamblers. And the people who take it to even more extreme are the collector boosters. They're either trying to hit that big thing or they actually want to just collect like to that extent. Draft boosters served their exact purpose. It was very cut and dry what they did. And it was a fair way to go about drafting. Do you know what I mean? Because you weren't like it was only ever, I think they were set like one rare in each draft pack. Just one. That's it. Everybody gets the rare. You pass around the pack. You see if somebody took the rare. You see if it's a good rare. You move on, and that was how you would draft. And now it's I said set boosters eclipsed draft. So that was the first problem. Yeah, set boosters became the top choice for players. Trust not by a little bit, but significantly. It meant that when most players had a choice of what to buy, opting to buy set boosters. Well, I mean, yeah, because if I'm going to buy a box, I'm buying a set booster box. Because there's only a little bit more and I have a much higher chance of getting something valuable. So, yes. So, for example, if a store only had set boosters in stock, they couldn't run drafts. Some of our smaller markets don't have the option of printing two types of boosters. So they had to pick one. Because set boosters sold better, they chose them. This meant, though, that no drafts or games of Sealed could be played in those markets. Many players have tried to use set boosters for limited play, with it being their only option, but because they're not designed for limited, it results in significantly substandard limited play. I've actually drafted off of set boosters, and I haven't had that much of a problem. I don't proclaim myself to be a phenomenal drafter, and I get it that when you have a set booster pack. I think I've gotten like between mythics and rares like up to 4 in one before. So I get it. Like if you pass around a bunch of set boosters, it's incredibly possible that someone gets access to much more rares than other people do. So that's kind of unfair. But I don't know if I would call it substandard play. I might call it tipped scales. I don't know if I would call it substandard though, and then he said it caused inventory problems. Isn't it one or the other? Just I don't know. I mean, dude, do you know how much inventory I'm responsible for, like operating a phone store? Like I don't get it. And I've never heard an LGS complain about it.
We have too many on the shelf. Yeah.
Oh, there's too many different kinds of packs that they've been releasing for the last 30 years that we've had 30 years to get accustomed to. No, man, I don't like any legit LGS isn't talking about that.
And how big are those?
Almost like how like what do you mean how big?
Like how big? Like you don't have pallets of them. Space. They're not cartons of milk. Like
yeah, well they get they get maybe like 10 to 15 of them, and then they'll see if they sell. And when they sell, they get more, and they just keep replenishing, as they start to get low. It's just a standard replenishment kind of thing. And you probably start buying less and less, when the set's no longer fresh, so to speak. So I don't know. It's, so that's a thing. And then, what are they saying here? Problems for stores, and they said it problems for distributors. I don't really know about that. So there used to be only one
I
booster.
think that's kind of funny because it's like it's a problem for distributors, so we're passing the problem on to players. We're gonna solve their problem by making things worse
problems for the end user, who is the only reason that this shit's still going anyway.
Exactly. I feel like it kind of had that kind of energy.
Well, and also didn't feel like they're like saying like, oh, LGS couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, fuck you too, man. You know, if you're an LGS, you're like, bro, we weren't complaining to you. So what are they, just like your scapegoat for this? Like, assuming no responsibility for if your product is good or bad. I don't understand. And then they said it began the abandonment of, that's what you're talking about, the abandonment of draft boosters. The second problem exacerbated the first problem. Having two different types of boosters was causing strain, and well, stores were opting to buy set boosters. Came at the expense of limited play, but it was all at the cost of staying in business. That's what they had to do. We do a lot of future forecasting in Studio X. Oh, are you sure about that? Limited play, drafts, a huge part of the Magic ecosystem. Yeah. Well, if it was a huge part, then wouldn't there be a high enough demand of draft boosters to where the other two problems you just talked about weren't problems? He's like contradicting himself in like every paragraph. It feels like, you know.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's the distributor's fault. It's the LGS's fault. Oh, but the players didn't want this, and they're not buying enough of this, so we got to do this. And it's just like, dude, what? If I went to my boss and I talked about selling shit the way that this guy was talking about selling shit, he would be like, "Hey, Lou, he'd be like, Lou, do you need a tampon? Does your pussy hurt?" Literally, that's what he would say to me. That's what he would say to me, bro. Like, okay, and I get it. My boss and I have a relationship that most people don't have with their bosses, but it's like, come on, dude, get your shit together. It's your job to roll with the punches.
Yeah,
you don't
serve
just
the customer.
You know, like, come on, dude. So this is, I don't know. I don't like this. Causes confusion in the marketplace. So you mean to tell me that the game that people can't play if they don't read the cards, that you can't force them to read the product that they're buying? That's doesn't make any fucking sense. Having two different types of regular boosters means we have to communicate twice as much information about how each booster is put together and what's in it. And you have to explain your product. Oh my god, imagine that. How do you think like Nabisco feels, who has to put ingredients and nutrition facts on everything? Get it together, man.
Yeah,
get it together.
I know.
What's happening?
It's weird.
You know?
And then, like I said, not to beat a dead horse, but then that weird comment about, oh well, according to our internal numbers, they were going to disappear. Like, you're extrapolating numbers, a dip. Dude? I don't know. Like that. Drafting was just there's no longer gonna be drafting in Magic like that.
Yeah,
that doesn't really make a lot of sense, you know.
Yeah, that too. The colors weren't balanced. I mean, whatever. The ratio of rarities would have to shift. Draft boosters, 3 to 6 colors, 1 to 4 rares and or mythics. Yeah, that's true. You need some variance in the slot, so we couldn't lock down exactly how many of each rarity a particular booster would have. We would have to change how we made sets. I don't think so.
I don't feel like... I don't know.
I don't think that has to happen at all.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now it's wild cards. So now it's an excuse to give you less rares and mythics. Because it's saying that you get the wild cards in the slots, 1.56% special guest. So that's a list card. 1.56% rare or mythic from the list, common or uncommon from the list, or a common from the main set. Wait, so that's the special guest slot. Okay, and then the non-foil wild card can be almost anything, any rarity. Traditional foil wild card Just like the last accept, it's guaranteed foilable. Non-playable, they say 65% token, 5% art with signature, 30% art. You get more playable cards, but there's less rares. Okay, well, and you know, upon first glance and how I looked at it, what this said to me was I'm not going to buy packs anymore. Basically. Because I bought set boosters. That's what I bought.
Yeah.
I bought set boosters because I wanted to see how many rares I could get, and I wanted to see if I pulled a $30 or $40 card, and I go back and I'll sell it to the LGS and I'll put it towards shit that I want. And it's just like it was like gambling for me. Literally, it was like gambling. You know, I'm gambling that I'm going to try to get a valuable card here, and now you're saying it's not going to happen, and I only really have a guarantee of one rare, and a lower likelihood of more than one. Whereas in the set boosters, you had a pretty good chance of like averaging 2 to 3 per booster if you bought like 10 or more. Do you know what I mean? It was very likely that there would be at least 2 rares in each. So yeah, not feeling this, bro. Not feeling it. And I'm not. And if that's the case, I'm not buying. You know, I'm not doing it. I'll buy singles, and I'll buy that pre-con I was talking about. But that's it.
I'm conflicted because I do like buying packs, and I love buying the beginner bundle because I feel like you get a pretty good value with all the other crap that you get in there. And I generally buy beginner bundles just to keep up to date with certain cards and have tradable ones. And
are you saying like those gift packs, like where you get
the gift boxes?
Boosters?
You get 8 set boosters and a bunch of other shit.
and those were set boosters. So what's that going to be now? You know, is that going to be this bullshit? And are you going to charge me less, or what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was my favorite thing to buy. It was the perfect in between of like buying a couple packs and like buying a whole box. It was like the perfect commitment, like $40, you know, just here's $40. Give me this box and maybe I'll get something. And if not, I'll at least get a cool 20-sided die and some lands, if nothing else. You know, that's fine. And I have something to keep more cards in. Cool. Love it. Great. It matches the set. I get the die from the given set.
Art cards and some other crap with it.
Yeah. You get all the lands from the set. Cool. Great. Perfect, like, you know, perfect way to like dip your feet into the set, see if you're feeling it without spending hundreds of dollars or over $100. Phenomenal. And now we're, you know, what are you going to put? What, 10 play boosters in there and charge me the same amount? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it. So I probably will not be buying an Ixalan one. I will be buying my Vito Ixalan singles when he's reprinted.
It's Vito, Lord of All Blood.
And whatever other cards make Vito good. All of that, whenever that happens, sign me up. Whenever my Sanguine Bond is reprinted, yeah, you heard me. Whenever my Sanguine Bond is reprinted, I'm buying that
there's Sanguine Bonds in Eldraine as one of the little bonus cards in there. I've gotten one.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, they're in there. I'm pretty sure. I swear to God, one
that
popped
card.
Up. Yeah, it has new art.
Does that mean you could get one in Eldraine Draft?
It's possible. Yeah, I think it would be.
Dude, that would be sick. I would,
but yeah,
I would like that. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was that's the card that made me really care. So yeah, I'm gonna buy my Vito singles when he comes out. Whatever Ixalan, I'm gonna buy some Galtas probably, and we'll see what's up. But like, and really, dude, like the way that I play Magic, which is like, you know, you just have like 1 or 2 decks that are good in a given format. That you're like, you really are just supposed to buy singles.
Exactly.
That's how you buy Magic cards, where you don't overspend and you're not like running a risk of losing money. It's a guarantee. Like, yeah, you pay the upfront for your singles, but that's it. You're done. You go to the LGS, you get your singles, you leave. That's it. You don't do any of the extra stuff. You don't roll the dice. You just do it. You play. You enjoy it. Kind of like good, clean fun, if you will. So they're making an honest man out of me now, Jay. That's what Mark Rosewater did.
Oh no.
Man,
yeah. Oh, I just looked it up. Yeah, I have 2 Sanguine Bonds.
Oh, it's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
I wish I could find the deck that had it, because I had an Exquisite Blood in there.
Oh, yeah,
and that's like
bonus.
a $25 card now, and I paid like $5 for it in like 2013 or something. So that was a while ago, but that was, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, man. So that's how I'm feeling about it. They said a lot. I have a lot to respond with. That's my take. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I again, to reiterate your point, just a weird announcement that seemed to be prompted by nothing. Like, let's fix a problem that doesn't exist. Apparently, in all of our minds, nobody really saw an issue. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they were like, "Oh yeah, it was a huge issue, and none of you knew about it." It's
none of you knew about it, but you all were causing it. Okay, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
it's like, weird.
What,
it's a weird. Yeah,
what game are we playing here, man? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about it. You know,
it was.
It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So that's where I was at with it. I'm glad that you're kind of in the same boat. I think a lot of people are. A lot of people are like, all right, well, so you said it's gonna. I think it would cost like an extra $1 or an extra 50 cents or something.
So, from what I understand, there's only going to be one type of card pack. Is that basically what they're saying?
I think they're still going to do collector boosters.
Okay.
Because they're not going to turn down your $30 or your $27 or whatever they're going to charge for it. They're not going to turn down that, but they're gonna constrict the amount of rares you can get, and maybe some people just buy more now because they're that addicted.
I know, it's
so
I like opening packs, but I have not an addictive personality. That's like loot boxes, casinos.
Oh, I
remember there was a meme that was like a guy sitting in a casino and he's at a slot machine. He's like, I don't know how people get addicted to gambling. I lost $5 into the machine and I want to burn down this place and everybody in it. Like, I hate it.
Oh yeah, I'm totally not addicted to anything. What? I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I do have an addictive personality, which is like kind of what got me so invested into Magic to begin with. But at the same time, like, they're doing a pretty good job of making me very unaddicted. Oh, they're doing a good job of making me want to get clean, if you will.
I've always joked that the only addiction that I have, if they make like Skittles or donuts illegal, I'm bad. I'm doing a 10-piece.
That's
I'm going down for a dime. If like gas station candy is, if they're like, bro, you can count with Starburst, that's 20. You ain't gonna see
yeah, lock me up, dude.
Yeah, it's.
Or I'll get caught. It's like that episode where of South Park where they legalize weed and outlaw KFC.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We'll have like an underground Skittles ring, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
In our basement or some shit. Yeah, just, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, so I don't know what the goal is here, but you know what? I've been telling myself for a while, I gotta stop buying packs, man, and just go get singles, because I buy the packs and all those cards just sit there and I don't do anything with them. I can't sell them because they're all worth like 7 cents and like can't fucking do anything. So, you know what? Maybe it's gonna just be like less clutter in my house now. Fine.
I don't know. I mean, when do they come out? Are you gonna buy one to even just sample it? You buy one off the shelf just to kind of, you know.
Should we do a play booster opening on
we'll buy one single play booster a piece and open it with like a scalpel and dissect it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll spend $5 for that. That's fine. Whatever it costs, sure. Yes, we should do that. And then that would be the only one that I get watched. I'm gonna pull like a fucking, I don't even know, a Ristic Study or whatever list card everybody wants. I'm gonna pull a Black Lotus, whatever the fuck.
I've never understood listen, I've been playing Magic for a long time. I don't understand the list. I don't even want to try to understand what the list is. Why does it exist? I've had multiple people try to explain it. I've read articles about it. All I know is that it exists somewhere in Magic. Everyone is either happy about it or mad about it all the time. And
pretty much.
Yeah, that's all.
And I think they add and remove cards from it as the times move along. All I know is if I see a list card, I get a little excited because of that one time that I got like a $40 demonic tutor, and because I got a fetch land out of a list card one time too. So I've gotten some very valuable list cards in my day. I've gotten like probably over $100 worth of list cards in like the 3 or 4 good ones that I've gotten. So that's great. But I just like it's a super low chance of getting a good one. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's those are our takes. And we want to open this up to the council and let you guys talk about your takes too. Do you think we're idiots? Do you think we're the smartest people you've ever met?
We want to know.
I know that the second one is the answer, but
I know. We are the smartest idiots that you've ever met.
Smartest idiots to ever make a podcast.
Exactly.
So, do you disagree? Do you agree? Yes and, no but, yes but, whatever, no and. Let us know because we want to hear from you, and also we want this to be like a dialogue, and I think this is something where like everybody has an opinion. So like totally.
Oh yeah. This is the opinion. Thinking. We need comments. We need comments in the chat. We need comments in the video. We want to know. Or
if you think that this could like benefit Limited in some way, let us know because we're not seeing it. Or if you think this is a better way to buy packs, let us know. Or if you have like some kind of hack, if you have a pack hack, if you will, for this, let us know for like a way to do it that kind of like abuses the numbers and like your odds. I don't see a way to do it. It just everything feels like it's just got worse. It feels like you just took like the low and high end and just combined it to the middle end and said that's all you get now.
Exactly.
You know, and I don't like stuff like that. I like being able to choose what I want, you know. So yeah, let us know, man. Let us know if you think there's anything to that effect. So yeah, we would love to hear from you, and I think we're just about at our time, but that is that's
absolutely
that's what we're looking at. So hopefully next time you hear from us, maybe we'll have some more Ixalan spoilers for you.
Hopefully we're gonna upcoming. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're joined up because we're gonna be doing Ixalan spoilers. We're gonna be doing our set review as we normally do. We're gonna be doing our early access if we try to do it.
For sure.
We're going to be doing all that stuff. We're going to be trying to be doing that the part 2 of the Ashiok deck too. That's coming up. And
we still got to make
the
that
council
good.
Also, we have to not remember. We talked about Vito. We want to do a lore of the last Ixalan set. We want to tell people do a lore Ixalan video. We haven't done a lore video in a while. The council has asked for that, so we're going to do that one day. We
they wanted that too.
Vito.
Yeah, let's do it.
They did want that, so we're going to do like Vito, the vampires, and the lore of Ixalan.
So maybe if we don't have spoilers for you next time, if we feel like there aren't enough to make it like a whole episode, then we'll do lore for you or something like that. I feel like that's reasonable because it's like leading up to it, you know.
Exactly. So yeah, we're gonna go into Ixalan gear real soon, and that's gonna be fun. I think that's gonna be a much more splashy set than what we got. So yeah, excited about it. I think that's going to be it, guys. That is going to be it for today. We did set boosters, we did bans, we did meta, we did alchemy adjustments, new alchemy cards. We touched on everything today. So if you didn't feel like you got your money's worth, I don't know what else we could have done. I guess a free slide of coleslaw and fries.
Well, feel free to let us know.
Feel free to let us know. Join the council and you can let us know. And we'll ask questions and we'll try to be here in the live when we go live with this one. So, and for all the early access people, by the way, if you're seeing this early, let us know too. We'll see your questions before anyone else.
Hell yeah.
So I've been Jay Villain. You've been great. With me as always, is my partner in council, the numbest of skulls, Mr. Numbskull, twitch.tv/numbskull. I forgot to put the tickers up. Look at that.
Oh, come on, man.
Put the banners up on the bottom.
And you've got the underscores.
Subpart, yeah. Num_skull_. I always forget. Until next time, guys, I've been Jay Villain. That's twitch.tv/thatvillainj. You're already on my channel, so you know what it is. Adios, everyone. Good night.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.